Like,
and we're
yeah,
live.
no, yeah, no. I started making a habit of writing notes before, because that post that you did on Facebook was really funny. That's
Which one?
exactly the
Oh,
one
the
where it
vlogs.
says other vlogs, our vlogs. It's like, yeah. So I started trying to make a habit of writing notes before we
But
go
they
on
tune
air.
in for the chaos.
Well, I know that, but it's like sometimes I just need to keep my thoughts together.
Oh my
Especially
gosh.
especially today since I do have a lot of thoughts.
Oh boy.
I do have
You
a lot of
ready
thoughts
then?
today.
Oh well, I guess we should
Absolutely
take a
not.
morning, right?
Even with my notes, but, yes, I know, right? Like, what day is it today?
Good morning, everyone. It is Friday, June 9th,
Oh,
2023, and this
ew.
is the Ragin to the vlogs, whatever that means.
I can't take this whole we're in June shit. I can't.
Yeah.
Already we're like 1 week in. It's like I can't, but hey, that's just how it goes, right?
All right, you ready?
Absolutely not, even with my notes, but hit it.
Want your comics to arrive in pristine condition? Head over to GeminiComicSupply.com and save 10% on your next Gemini mailer order or anything in the Gemini Comic Supply store. Use coupon code RAGIN10. That's RAGIN 10. I was tired of fumbling over that ad, and now I hate my voice even more.
Ah, well, it's just something you get used to. That's
No,
all.
no, you don't.
Yes, you do. You have to do enough of these things.
Dude, I've been doing it for 3 years. You realize I now have over 1,000 live streams?
Right. Well,
Like it,
that is a
and
lot. Yeah, that
yeah,
is a lot. Yeah.
like yeah, nah,
Right.
I'll
Yeah.
never get used to it.
Well, hey. But at least I don't have to insult people's comic book sloppy ass comic book collections to get them to use our coupon code.
Good morning, nerds.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. So who's joining us in the chat today?
Refrain, which means we better
Efrain.
jump on introductions.
Oh, that's
John
true.
Celestri, Jody McPhee,
Hello.
Tina,
Good
hello, good
morning.
morning, Okafern, hello, good morning, and Joseph,
Oh,
hello, good
there we
morning.
go. Oh, it's all the regulars. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Ragin to the Vlogs show, whatever this is. Although, like I said, if you're not on Facebook, check out the chart that Nita posted about like other people's vlogs and our vlogs, and it's just really
It's an ADHD chart.
it really is. It's just very funny because it's true. So before Efrain rings the bell to remind me to do introductions, hello everyone. My name is Daphne Lage, and I'm a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist from New York. I have been self-publishing comics since 1992, and you know what that means.
Emotional damage.
Especially after this week, Jesus. And I am known for the furry fantasy adventure Tall Tales, which I wanted to thank the 61 people who have backed so far on the campaign for Tall Tales, or so I thought, the very first full color Tall Tales campaign we have ever released. It is the prequel to Tall Tales Thieves Quest, now in full color. So encourage me to do more full color Tall Tales books by pledging to the campaign. There's exactly 3 weeks to go, 21 days to go on the campaign. So thank you everybody who have supported the campaign so far. And I am also known my mature audiences slice of life medieval fantasy Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn. You know, I read that slice of life might not be an accurate term to use, so I might have to switch back. Yeah, I might have to switch back to whatever it was I was using.
But soap opera is not accurate either.
Well,
unless you think like Passions, but I'm always thinking like Young and the Restless or some shit.
Well, right, yeah, well, that too. But I mean, because slice of life, it seems, has an actual definition that means that it's like low stakes.
Definitely.
And that what?
Okay, so high stakes slice of life.
High stakes slice of life. My medieval fantasy, Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, which issue 7. Coming back to Kickstarter summer 2023. If you don't know, I finished the book is done. I have a proof that I printed out, and I'm just color correcting it that way, just doing one last look over on everything. But the book is done, ready to come back to Kickstarter in a couple of months. I'm very excited about this issue. All hell breaks loose. Everything goes wrong. You know how it goes. And I'm looking forward to sharing it with everybody. But in the meantime, you can read both my comics online at Tall Tales, TAILS online.com and eagleworks.com. And you can check out all my videos on how I make my comics here on YouTube at my channel at Daphne Lage, that's Lage Art, which I also simulcasts through the Indie Comics Network. And to tell you more about it, here's Nita.
The Indie Comics Network is a channel on YouTube. I happen to have the Google account that owns the channel. We talk about comics and comics related stuff, especially indie comics. Yes. Yeah. And I'm a writer, vlogger, blogger who consumes copious amounts of marijuana on a regular basis, and I try to smile and stream. Yeah.
Well, we got to do what we got to do.
Oh my gosh. And I need to paint my fingernails.
Oh, well,
damn, that's awful looking. I'll try to keep my hands down.
Right. Oh, there we go. So like I said, welcome everybody to another episode. And yes, I see you, the 10 people who are watching us on the giant eyeball on my screen. How come every time I say the number,
they're back.
We're back. Yes, and I see you, the 10 people watching us from regions beyond next to the giant eyeball on my screen. If you're joining us from Facebook, if you're joining us from Twitter, come on over to YouTube. Join my sexy people in the chat. Keep them company. all these troublemakers. You know, and while you're here, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever any of our shows go live. So yeah. Oh,
Yes,
no,
exactly.
comic organization shaming is allowed.
Yes, it is, and here's why: because we don't care what you do with your meat as long as you keep it neat.
Right? I'm a vegetarian.
Me too.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yes. And yes, I happened to survive the past couple of days here on SETI Alpha 5. Right? No, actually, no, it's a very nice, clear day. Today, finally was able to open my windows.
It'll be a long time before Daphne wants pancakes.
You're right. It is. I mean, it's like, and what's funny is that Nita got to see this shit in real time, because when we went on stream, we do private streams, so we're just working, you know, and when Nita came on Monday, it's like I was telling her that it's like I keep smelling smoke, but as long as like the fire, like the truck,
because there were sirens too, remember?
Yeah,
like
you know, so it's like this long. I mean, I kept getting up and checking out the window. It's like, what the fuck? Everything smells like smoke. And the last time that happened, literally a house 2 doors down was on fire. So, you know, so I was a little paranoid, but it's like once it turned out that there were no fire trucks in my area, I just left it. But the smoke smell was just like, oh, okay, I guess something happened nearby or something. And then, like, as the night went on, it just got worse and worse and worse. And then, like, the next morning, it was like, oh, I must give my waters to Shah Halud just to get Chinese food at the corner. What the
Oh my gosh.
You know, I mean, everything was yellow. I mean, whatever pictures you saw is exactly the way it looked.
I like the memes better than the actual photographs.
Oh, yeah,
like the one with Godzilla, or the one with the Diablo 4 sign. Welcome to hell, New York.
Yeah, for real. That one was perfect. And you know, it was just like couldn't open up any of the windows at all. I stuck my head out and almost vomited because there was like it smelled like burnt pancakes. Like if someone like burnt pancakes and put like rancid like
maple syrup
on it. Like it was like a sickly sweet smell. And I had ended up reading that that's because like one of them, like
I don't want your goddamn McGriddle.
Right? No, for real. It's like I guess like the forests that are on fire in Canada. One of the 150 forest fires, uncontained forest fires in Canada right now.
Also, South Jersey was burning too.
Yeah, exactly. No, there were wildfires in Jersey too. Yeah, was mostly maple trees. So people were explaining that's the sweetness in the air was from the maple trees. And I go, fuck maple trees. It's disgusting. I can't even, you know, it's like, so I had to keep everything closed. And it's like I told Nita, it's like the saving grace was that it was a rather cool couple of days. It's not like it was sweltering.
Oh, it would have been hot. Gosh.
Yeah, because like I was just able to close the windows, run the fans, and the house was still comfortable. Because if it was too hot, it's not like I could have run the air conditioner. Because
no, you just brought the shit inside.
Yeah, you'll just suck that air inside. So, you know, so we kind of lucked out with that. So yesterday it cleared up a lot, but there did come a point where I started getting a scratchy throat and whatnot. So I had to close all the windows again. You know, I was pushing my luck, you know, the air in the house gets stale and it's like, oh, come on, I can see blue sky now. Let me just open it. And it's like, within a couple of hours, it's like I was developing a cough. It's like, okay, fine, you know. But today I showed Nita there was this air quality thing that I was looking at like every couple of hours, just to kind of like to get a sense of what's going on. So today we are at moderate right now. So on Tuesday, the dial was all the way past the dark purple, like it was beyond what
apocalyptic.
Yeah, it was just you know, forget it. It's like, so right now we're at moderate. There may be some risk to people who are unusually sensitive to air pollution. So, at one point we were literally at hazardous, which is 300 particles per whatever, and it's like health warning of emergency.
India has healthier air.
Yeah, no, for real. It's so by tomorrow we should be back. Yeah, no, what's really funny is that I had to close it's like I had my windows open and then I had to close them again because my neighbors started smoking. And every time they smoke, it wafts into my house. It's like, oh fuck, really? So just the thought of them staying inside because of the air quality, but they're all smoking. Yes, it is ironical. So that was, hey, but at least I got work done. Because when you don't have to go anywhere, you end up getting a lot of work done. So what was I doing? Yes, I'm currently, as I stated in the intro, I am completely finished with Eagle Raven issue 7. Like I said, I have the proof sample. Yeah, I know, really. That I have the proof sample here for me to check over. And then I'm currently getting through the Eagle Raven Unicorn King's Daughter, the special one shot that's coming out later this year. I am officially 11 pages done out of 16 pages, so I'm very close, very close. Now, mind you, this is all like inking right now, not coloring or anything. I want to get all the inking done before I start, because like I have this and then I have another 8 pages for the adult supplement that I got to do. And then after I have all that done, then
it is very adult.
Yes, it's very adult. Even Nita was surprised at how much porn I could.
I was like, woo,
Oh
my God, I will never scoff at you for calling some TNA book cowardice again.
Yeah, exactly.
Daphne is gonna give y'all all.
So before Jose gets his hands on his own, puts out Girls of Terror X. Talk about challenge accepted. So I'm getting through I want to get through all that. And then it's like, what's ironic? This is actually ironic. So I was going to use those 8 pages in order to really force myself to learn Clip Studio Paint. I had did all the layouts digitally in Photoshop, and I have everything brought in. So I was going to like ink those pages in Clip Studio Paint. And I'm now beginning to really, really think I should do that with issue 8 of somebody has to. Although that's more girls. That's more girls with Turks. Like I said, never challenge Jose on this type of thing. But that's besides the point. So I'm really seriously thinking of just like, after doing finishing this 8 pages, inking that in Clip Studio Paint, I do have issue 8 of Eagle Raven printed out and really ready to traditionally ink, which is what I usually do. But the more I kind of work, the more I'm like, you know what? I should just bring that sucker into Clip Studio Paint and finish issue 8 digitally. Digitally as well. Because I don't know, it's like, look, I love traditional inking, and I've said before that if you don't get your hands dirty, you're not doing it right. Well, yesterday especially, I got fucking tired of getting my hands dirty. I got really, really tired of having to constantly clean up ink smears and stuff as I was working. And it's like, you know what? Maybe this is just it. Maybe I finally reached my threshold where I have to start transitioning to digital, because I am a little tired of having to break out my whiteout like every couple of minutes because something smeared. I thought it was dry, and it's like, and it's just like, there just comes a point where it's like, you know what, we'll see. So we'll see how that happens, because I do have a pile of traditional pieces that I do want to ink, but there just comes a point when it comes to the actual work I need to get done. It might be just best to jump into that transition and and just start working digitally, especially if I think it's going to be a lot faster, and still get the same quality, but save me time doing it. Because in the end, that's the important thing for me. I have to have the exact same quality, but I have to be able to do it faster. So I'm not. Should I even ask what you're laughing at? Should I even ask? No, I'm not going to ask. I'm
not banning Chad Perkins on accident.
Right. Oh no. Did you do that again?
Yeah, but I meant to put him in a timeout, but it banned him, so I had to go get him back.
Oh, brother. You see, Chad, never announce your intentions to cause trouble. It causes Nita to press the wrong buttons.
I panic.
So yeah. So what's been going on with you, Nita, before I just continue rambling?
I am trying to learn how to be a social media guru.
Oh, good that you brought that up. Yeah.
I have problems, okay?
Right.
Problem one is we bought this other book, not this one, but another one for YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing in there that I have not already applied. I mean, not one thing. You talk about a fucking waste of money. And so
Did you
far,
return it at least?
No, not yet. I'm gonna let C read it.
Oh,
this shit here, same damn thing. It's like I need to find some books for the advanced social media gurus.
Right. I mean, it's tough
because everything so far in all these books. Of course, this one I've only done Facebook and Instagram so far. I have applied across the platforms. So it's like, okay, bitches. So you're just telling me I gotta wait. I don't like to wait. I'm impatient.
Right. Well, but the one with the red cover that you had, that was one of the books that I talked about on Monday's show. That I said that I had bought as the Kindle. It was that, and I think like the 1 hour marketing plan,
right?
That I had bought for the Kindle. It cost me $7 for the 2 books. So for all you cheap asses out there you go. You have no excuse. $7. So I started reading the first book.
Hi, Jake.
Oh, hey, Jake. A media therapist. I know, right? That's kind of what most of these books are, really.
They really are. It's just recycled bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, it's like when I was talking, I was originally recommended, the book I started reading, The 1 Hour Content Plan by Mira Cothan.
Yeah.
I was recommended that book by Tyler Carpenter, and he said that it's like that everything that he talks about, I mean, he's getting from everywhere else. He says nothing that I say is new. The information is all out there. I'm just repeating what I'm seeing. And everybody wants to act like he's being an asshole and whatever, but it's
he is an asshole, but
no, Tyler.
I'm kidding. Tyler's a silly dude.
He wants to help people. He
really does. He wants to do it, but he's angry about it.
Well, because people are stupid. It's like
exactly. But I got this one because it's like, you see the updated 2023 edition, right? Thinking, okay, we're only in fucking June. There's got to be something I don't know about yet.
Nah, it's all the same thing. So it's like, so people want to get mad at Tyler for being the messenger and not necessarily what he's saying. Even though they don't like what he's saying either, because in the end, it boils down to just do the fucking work, and people don't want to do that. It's like I told him, it's like, people want a pat on the back for their failures, not told you could be better than this. Right. So I started reading this book, and already it's like last night I went into such, not exactly a panic mode, but just like, oh my God, it's kind of like she didn't say much, but what I had to think about was so much. It got to the point where I was actually dreaming about it.
Oh boy.
Trying to sort this stuff out. I mean, it's like, I had an existential crisis. That's what it was. I didn't panic. I just had an existential crisis. So here's the thing. Like I said, I didn't, luckily with physical books, she could just return them. She could just return them to Amazon. Go, this is shit. It's not what they advertise.
Yeah, no.
So the first thing that she talked about was knowing, producing your content GPS, right? So the thing is, though, she mostly, I guess, in the context of her book, she talks mostly about blogging, but with a little tweaking, you can apply this to your YouTube channel as well. So of course, the first thing that she talks about is know your niche. It's
Right.
like it's like what's your niche, and then break it down even further, because especially on YouTube, the nichier the niche, the less competition you have in a particular
How
area.
much nichier do you get than indie comics? Indie comics.
Well, I mean, it's like, you got to break it down somehow, and then it's like, and then here's the thing.
Break you
I
down.
know I've spoken about this before, but it's like, know your why. Why are you doing this? Why do you want, what are you trying to accomplish? If you want to like build up your YouTube channel, what are you trying to accomplish with your channel? What is it, it's like, what's the purpose of your channel? What do you want to help your audience to do? What do you want to help them solve? How does your content change your viewer? What do people get out of watching you? So it's like, so that's kind of, like the questions, that she wants you to think about. It's like, know your why. Why are you doing this? Right. And okay, it's like, all right, that's kind of like, all right, I can, it's like,
Some days I need to be reminded why. So
Right.
I'm not stable enough to just know.
Right. So it's like, but the thing is, though, like for me in general, it's like I realize that my whole thing is to educate, but be entertaining about it. It's like, like doing, like even when I do like my little rant videos, it's like, I want to be entertaining yet educational with it. I want you to come out of my videos learning something, or at least like considering something differently or whatnot. And even if I'm doing tutorials, it's like, I want you to come out learning like, oh, maybe a new technique, or I didn't know I could do that, and this, that, and the other thing. So that's kind of like where I figure the space that my content lives in, that's kind of like what. So it's like, okay, all right, so I'm like, all right, I kind of get the idea here. But then the next thing that she talks about, this one sent me into a tailspin, because when I was doing Tyler James from Comics Launch, from Comics Tribe, I think it's comicstribe.net.
Right.
He had his whole curriculum that I was doing, and the one part that I kept skipping was, who is your ideal who's your ideal reader, who's your ideal audience member, who's your ideal viewer. And I always said for the longest time, I don't know who the bitch is. I don't know. I just do what I like. And I don't know how am I, what my demographic is or whatnot. But the thing is, though, this is exactly what this book asks you to do. But the funny thing is that this is why she asked. So it's like, so her next thing is to find an imaginary friend in your ideal. In my case, my ideal viewer for YouTube, since that's mostly what I'm trying to focus building, and so who is your ideal reader? And then it's like, the hardest part of my audience building raises its ugly head again. It's like, who is this person? Who am I selling to? Who am I talking to when I do my content? And well, but that's important to know. That is important to know. And then it's like, okay, what kind of weeaboos? How do you break that down? Who is your perfect weeaboo? Which is kind of, what I had to think about. Because her thought process is, all right, so like my channel has 1,000 subscribers. Thank you everybody for subscribing. So my channel has 1,000 subscribers. Instead of thinking about how I'm going to cater my content to 1,000 subscribers, right? Her thought process is create your perfect subscriber and create your content for them. So you're thinking of your perfect, your perfect viewer, who your one perfect, like that represents who you want to attract, who you want to continue attracting to whatever it is you're trying to build up, whether it's a YouTube channel or your Facebook or your Instagram. And, even just, like, okay, how do I market my book? Who is my audience? Who is the one person I'm writing this for, right? Who am I trying to sell this to? So it's a lot easier to create content for that one representative subscriber than it is trying to create for 1,000 varied subscribers. And when she worded it like that, I'm like, okay, now I get it. Now I understand. Like, now it's clicking. Now it's clicking, so that really, like I said, it really put me in a tizzy, because it's like, now it's like, by wording it like that, I had no choice but to think about it. So I was like ruminating on this shit all night. So I was going back and forth with Jose with this, like trying to figure, it's like, what? But the thing is, though, it's important. That's exactly how you're supposed to think about it. Like, what is it with your thing, that you're trying to get people to read? What's your angle? So it's like, yeah, if you're doing something like 50 Shades of Grey with SpongeBob, you really got to know who you're selling that to, because in the end, it's like, yeah, it's very easy for us to say we do this for ourselves. And you may think that it's a hysterical premise, but in the end, somebody has to buy that, right? The whole idea is for somebody to buy that. And that's part of it too, because it's like your one subscriber, that your one ideal subscriber, the idea is that they also tell their friends. It's like, hey, check this out, because that's also the thing you want your audience to do, to automatically start associating you with whatever it is that they're coming to your channel for, So here's the thing. So I started asking myself this question. So in the end, I really thought about it and realized, what's my ultimate goal with all this, right? So my ultimate goal is to sell my comics to engaged readers, not somebody who collects variant covers, not somebody who's just going to buy it and toss it to the side, and forget about it. It's like, I want engaged readers. I want people who are going to talk about it, because in the end, it's like, that's what's going to attract more people. It's that whole social proof thing, right? So if that's my goal, if my goal is to sell comics to engaged readers, how do I work backwards from that? If I know that's my goal, okay, this is my, it's kind of like working a story. I know my ending. What's your ending, right? What's your ending for the book that you create or whatnot? What's your ending? Right. So my ending is to sell more comics to engaged readers through my YouTube channel, through my social media channels or whatnot. Right. So how do I work backwards from that? Who is my ideal reader? And then I started thinking about, well, what makes me someone's ideal? What are the channels that I watch consistently? Why do I watch them? I have like a whole list of channels that I'm subscribed to, right? It's kind of like, you have a playlist of like 200 songs, but you only listen to the same 5 over and over again, right? And with my YouTube channel, it's the same thing. I have like 40 plus channels that I'm subscribed to, but I only have 5 that I watch consistently.
Right.
That every time they put out something, I'm there, I'm watching and whatnot. So then I started thinking about it. Who are these main channels and why? Why do they stand out for me like this? So the 5 channels that I watch, for people who are curious, I watch Kelsey Rodriguez. She is a fine artist who does mostly landscapes and whatnot. I mean, really, it's like, but she runs an incredibly educational art business channel, and she has 173,000 subscribers that she built up in 2 years. As a fine artist, You know, it's not like she does really
Crazy.
commercial work or anything. So it's like, and she caters her content specifically to artists. And then the other person that I watch is Catnip. She is a British creator, and she has her own small business that I've been watching her when she was running out of like a closet in her own home, and then now she's built up to having this studio, this large studio where she employs her family members to help her with this. You know, she's a growing, you know, she's a very a growing business. She does mostly stationery and that type of work, and she has 179,000 subscribers. So again, it's like another art specific channel. But you see here, you know, so here's the thing. So the other person that I watch, of course, is White Manga. You know, he has 526,000 subscribers. His videos are mostly manga related, and very much manga related to his stuff. Every video that he does, he knows he dovetails it into the book that he does, Apple Black. He could be talking about Chainsaw Man, and then he will figure out how to make a connection from Chainsaw Man to Apple Black, so that you're kind of subconsciously making that connection between that manga and his manga through Saturday AM. So so that was pretty interesting as to how he works that. Another person that I watch, she goes by the name Uncomfy, and she works in polymer clay. She does keychains and whatnot, and she has 115,000 subscribers. You know, so the thing is, though, so as you can see, all of these people are artists, but they were able to cater their content in a way that gets them subscribers that converts to sales. So, you know, and you know, and I think that it's a very varied collection of artists. Now, the main one that what's funny is that especially lately, I more hate watch her than anything. I used to watch her when she was just like in school, and she was just making like just vlogs out of her apartment. Now it's like, I can only guess the amount of money that she makes off of what she does. It's Bailey J, out of Canada, 1.1 million subscribers. You know, and the thing that I get, you know, so kind of like the common ground that I see with these videos mostly is that they're kind of like lifestyle vlog, but it's art lifestyle vlog. Right. Where like it's not just them doing tutorials or whatnot. It's about them actually bringing you in to how they do what they do. And showing kind of, you know, showing the back end, showing how they, you know, they incorporate their non-working, non-art life with the art that they make. You know what it, you know, it's like, so it's kind of like, it's like an art, yeah, it's a kind of like art lifestyle that they do, and then how they function, how they run their businesses in between personal stuff, in between, it's like they still travel, they still, you know, do things, you know, and whatnot. So, you know, so I'm, you know, so it's like, okay, what am I trying to figure out from this, right? So my whole thing was, so what I realized is like, okay, what I'm trying to do is find a middle ground between Tyler Carpenter saying create content for readers, not creators, and Kelsey Rodriguez. I was just watching her video yesterday where she says, you are not a content creator. You are an artist. You are an artist. And when you create your content, they need to be done in a way that they are events, where people will look forward to their videos no matter how erratic they come out. Because she says, you have your time, you need to prioritize your art, not your content. Because in the end, if you prioritize your content, you defeat the purpose of the art. you defeat the purpose of why you're attracting people to your art to begin with, if you sacrifice your art in order to make content. So I'm trying to find this middle ground between the two ideas, because here's the thing too, because Tyler talks about how if you cater too much to creators, you end up in this feedback loop that doesn't really benefit you. But here's the thing though, the way I look at it is that not all readers are creators, but every creator is a reader. So I don't see why I have to dismiss them in order to get more
You
readers.
absolutely cannot dismiss creators.
Right. So I mean, so the way I'm looking at it is that I'm treating them all as readers. It's just that they're different types of videos that I have to make depending on who I decide I'm going to cater to this time. And Kelsey talks about categorizing your videos in that way. Is that, when you schedule making videos, like who is this video for? Who is this targeting? It's like it's very strategic on her end. Because it's like, like I said, it's like I feel that my channel is predominantly educational, as I'm doing right now, right? But the thing is though, is just trying to find that middle ground where what do I offer if you're not here for the educational stuff, but you're still kind of interested in my work anyway. Like maybe you're not, looking at, maybe you're not looking, for information on how to run a Kickstarter, but maybe you're more interested in more of like a day-to-day thing as to like, well, this is what my day looks like when I'm working on pages, when I'm working on, comics. Another video, another channel that I used to watch was called Zeke's Lunchbox. And I watched her for 2.5 years create a tarot card deck. Every time she did a video, she was painting another tarot card. And by the time her Kickstarter launched for those tarot cards, it was her first Kickstarter, and she raised 6 figures.
Wow.
On her Kickstarter for that tarot card, which I almost bought, because I got sucked in to following her for 2.5 years and going, oh shit, I should get the tarot card, until I realized like, wait, I don't collect tarot cards. Why do I? But she almost got me. Which is what I'm talking about, right? So after kind of like really dwelling on all this, mind you, these are just the first 2 chapters of this book. I haven't even gotten halfway through. I'm only a quarter of a way in because I'm reading it on the Kindle, and this thing has got me like upside down thinking this shit, right? And what's funny is that, like I said, I started writing notes. I started writing notes every time we go on a vlog now, because I do want kind of like keep my meandering to a minimum. And what's funny is that I ended up kind of like writing out what I was going to write out for what this woman was asking for. So I have to make sure I save these notes so that I can copy that information over. So in the end, so like I said, after sleeping on it, dreaming about it and whatnot, I think I finally figured out who my ideal reader is. And what's funny was that I got the idea when I was telling Jose who I thought his ideal reader is. And I go, wait a minute, I think that's also mine too. So my ideal reader for Eager Raven, because Tall Tales is going to require a different set of parameters because of the tone and whatnot. So this one's for Eager Raven. So my ideal reader for Eager Raven is female between 20 and 40 who reads manga when younger, YA books when older. Predominantly favors fantasy, but more character-centered stories rather than high-stake save the world types. Loves Lord of the Rings movies for the portrayal of intimate character relationships, not necessarily for the broader story. I don't know whether I'm talking more about myself or whatnot, but this is kind of like what I'm projecting here, right? Tolerates Game of Thrones. Not exactly a fan, but the fantasy element sucks them in enough to work around the nihilism. But they don't shy from dark themes as long as there's a happy ending somewhere. And then it's like I figured, okay, so they predominantly enjoy the Chronicles of Narnia, The Witcher, A Knight's Tale, and The Last Unicorn. If they're watching anime, they enjoy Lodoss Wars, Escaflowne, The 12 Kingdoms, and Violet Evergarden, right? If they're into YA, the basis for this interest comes from the Tortall series by Tamora Pierce, Song of the Lioness, and Protector of the Small. And I'm like going, oh my God, I think I finally got something specific here. So it's like, because now it's like, I now have a visual on who I'm making content for. Now, here's the thing. If you're hearing me say that and you don't fit any of this, but you're still a fan of my work, remember, this is supposed to be representative for me to hyper focus how I do my content. It doesn't mean, it's not me saying you are the wrong person that I'm targeting. That's not what this means at all. All this is a mental exercise to help me focus my content, how I make my content. You know, if you are a fan of my work and you feel that this resonates with you on a certain level, even though you don't specifically fit everything, that's fine. That's it's like, remember, it's like I'm kind of like creating this, it's a fantasy fan, right? Literally a fan that's a fantastical amalgamation of everything that I'm here, so that I'm listing here, so that I can focus my content. I can focus my social media presence. Okay, who is this? Again, remember, it's easier to make content for one person, even if they don't exist, one idea of a person, than it is to try to make content for 1,000 variations. So that's all this means. So then I thought a little bit more as to like, okay, how would I describe my YouTube channel? So again, it's like I'm kind of doing all of this to kind of like, now that I'm at 1,000 subscribers, kind of push my YouTube channel to kind of like, where can I take this? How can I improve it? Right. So, and then thinking about, why do I watch the channels that I do on a regular basis? Why do I watch them, right? As opposed to all the other channels that I'm subscribed to. What is it with these 5 channels that I'm constantly going to, right? So this is what I came up with. So for my YouTube channel, so my ideal viewer for my YouTube channel is an eclectic artsy type who may also want to get into the creative scene themselves. Watches videos showcasing the creative process of the products they eventually purchase. They're also curious about how their favorite creator lives and works, just as attracted to the lifestyle aspect of the context of the content as much as the how-to. Not really, and this was a thing that took me a little bit to get over, because they're not really concerned about the repetition of the artwork, because especially when I do my live streams, I'm always very self-conscious about not working on the same thing two live streams in a row. So if I work on a cover on a previous episode, the next episode I'm inking on a page or something. They're trying to make it visually different. But what I realized by studying these other channels is that the people watching it are not really concerned about the repetition of the artwork, as long as there is a narrative moving forward and reaching an end product. So it reminds me of something that used to pop up I don't know if they still do it, 100 Days of Comics, where people would literally I remember when people would like literally film themselves for 100 days working on their comics, so that by the end of the 100 days, they would show you like what they accomplished. I guess just to show you, if you do consistent work, you can have a book after 100 days or something, or two, or whatever books, right? So as long as there's a final product, they don't care if they're seeing you work on the same page for 3 weeks, as long as they know, okay, this is where this is going. It's like, you're bringing up the fact that we're working towards this issue. We have to release it on this date. The Kickstarter is on this day, so I have to get this done, type of thing. What's your narrative with what you're doing on screen? Right. And then here's the thing: enjoys the final product as an extension of the artist, as their way of seeing through the journey and getting the product in hand as social proof. Pretty much what happened with the tarot card deck. I spent 2.5 years watching her make these 80-something paintings, and I almost bought the tarot card deck because I felt committed. I had watched her all this time, and it's like, oh, it would be really neat to have this tarot card that she worked so hard on, until I realized that it's like, I don't collect tarot cards. So, it was kind of like, I'm not spending $80 on a pack of cards. So, but here's the thing though, even without physically buying her item, I gave her views. I gave her watch time, which allowed her to monetize her channel even more in terms of like AdSense and sponsorships and whatnot. So my time just watching her videos is just as valuable as, well, it has has value as much as her physical product. So those two chapters had me all over the place with this, trying to figure this out. And honestly, it's like, boy, I can't wait to see what she forces me to do in the rest of this book. Because like I said, it's not even. After you have that detailed desired member of your audience, how do you reach those who are completely cold to the specific theme of what you want? Well, you see, the thing is, though, is that if you're creating okay, so you created this person. Now, remember, this person doesn't exist. So technically, you are working with a cold audience, but what it is that you're creating a visual as to how you're going to create your content to that audience. So, okay, I have this visual, right, of who I want reading Eager Raven. So how do I make my videos? How do I cater, knowing what I'm figuring this person is? How do I cater my content to be attractive to people who match these things? Like, okay, so I know that there has to be kind of like an anime angle to what I make, to attract those people. There has to be, some kind of YA angle, even though I don't consider Eager Raven YA. There's an overlap, that whole Venn diagram thing. It's like, okay, how do I get these two? And then like, how do I hyper focus on what the overlap is, right? So that's the thing. Technically, you are making content to a cold audience, but what it is that you're catering to an audience that's already primed for your product. They just have to know about it. So I don't know if that makes sense, because it's like, you're not going to, if you're looking at catering Joe Schmo out the street, with a random Facebook ad, it's not going to work. I've done that. It doesn't work. All it did was attract trolls and shit and wasted my money, but by really hyper focusing my content to who I want to attract, it's kind of like, it's like, look, it's bait. Your content is bait, right? You want to attract a certain animal, there's certain bait that you have to use.
Right.
So, you can't put cheese out and expect to catch an elephant. So you have to know. And here's kind of the thing too, when I was talking to Jose about this, because I don't know who my audience is. And I go, I know exactly who your audience is. You just don't want to admit that's your audience. Which is kind of like, because we go to conventions, and I told him that's where I told him, it's like, no, your
teenage girls.
Yeah, it's teenage girls, that are into manga, into YA, and it's like, those are the ones who are reading your stuff. It's like, yeah, it's like your book has more in common with attracting weeaboos than who you think you should be attracting. I don't know who he thinks he should be attracting, but it's like, no, it's very obvious who stops to look at the Oswald Chronicles at conventions. And what's funny with that is that Jose he sent copies of Oswald to another creator who goes to conventions. I don't know where he goes to conventions, but he says, oh, the Oswald Chronicles, he doesn't have to do anything. It sells itself. And I started laughing, I was like, well, I guess someone has to be able to sell it easily, because it's always, it's always kind of like a chore when we're at conventions trying to sell it. But he goes, no, So Jose is going to talk to him about, okay, what do you see on your end? Who's buying the Oswald Chronicles? So, but again, I told him, it's like, well, it's like, you kind of have to come to terms with the audience you're actually attracting. It's like, so that's kind of the thing too. It's like, you kind of have to soul search as to who's really buying your stuff. Who do you see actually buying your stuff? And it's like, and are these the people you want buying your stuff? Are these the people you're going to continue catering to? Do you double down on catering to them? It's the thing that we were talking about, how if you see that the only people buying your stuff are people who are only buying your variant covers, what happens when they decide to move on? Right? So it's like, is that an audience? It's like, okay, so like, we all know that variant covers, that they sell, and this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, look, as long as the bubble is growing, take advantage of it as much as you can before it bursts, right? But here's the thing.
Not that we're saying TNA variants would ever fucking disappear. They're always going to be there, but the novelty of it,
right,
being the covers of
I'm
your
talking
book.
about, like the fact that, we're in a speculator market. Look, I've seen this time and time again, and it's like, look, if you want to cater to a speculator market, go right ahead. It's like, take advantage while you can. But here's the thing, though. Let's see. It's like, here's the thing. It's like, is this an audience you can truly cultivate? If people are only buying your books for the variant covers, like I said, what happens when they move on? What happens when variant covers don't have the same luster as they used to? They don't have, all of a sudden, the speculators are moving on to something else, and they decide that, oh, variant covers, they're so last year now. It's like nobody invests in them anymore. So what happens then? What do you have left? Who's your audience, right? So so that's kind of, so like I said, it's like that. That's why in the end, I keep saying my end result is selling to engaged readers.
Right.
It's like I'm doing all these variant covers for a future campaign. Like I said, that campaign is a test on a lot of things that I've learned, from a lot of people, doing Kickstarters and whatnot. It's like, and this is going to be a big test for me. It's like, okay, does this actually work? Does it work for me? It's like, is this something that I can replicate? Can I scale this? It's like, so I have all these variant covers. But the thing is, though, is that my main goal for that campaign is to create 2 novelty books that are still readable. that are still fun to read, that people can still have a good time with, but they could just simultaneously collect variant covers while they're at it. If they really enjoy those pieces, they can, if you enjoy the artwork. Okay, question. The desired one person you create is based on what you see. You're hitting a person who is warm to desired one. What do you feel is it reaching the cold audience? That's the thing. You know what? I think what I'm learning from these 2 chapters is that a cold audience might not be worth you targeting. Because it's like you want to be able, it's a lot easier to target a warm audience than a cold one. I mean, it's like there's certain people that you cannot sell to no matter what you do.
No, there are certain people you're never going to sell to, but I also I don't know if I agree with her so much, and here's why: because you've created your ideal audience, but actually your ideal audience was a description of yourself. So once again, you're selling to yourself.
Right.
And which is important, because you have to have that passion and love for what you're doing.
Right.
But I think that narrowing down your audience is important to an extent, but God, this one gets so fucking complicated.
Yeah.
It's just.
Well, because here's the thing. The reason why in the end I started looking at myself again, because I was like going, you know what? I can't be the fucking only one.
No, and you're not. And you're not. But don't limit it to people who would only have your interest, because I've seen people come from the outside,
Right. Yeah,
and I know that's not what you're saying, but I just don't want someone to interpret
Joe
that.
is a perfect example of that.
There you go. Okay.
Joe, see, that's the ironic thing. Joe is a perfect example of a cold audience member who latched onto my work. Right. So it's like I would have never have guessed Joe would have been interested in my work. There's a lot of people who follow my work I would have never have guessed. But you see, here's the thing. I didn't specifically target you. So it's like how to convert a cold audience member to a warm one. To tell you the truth, I couldn't tell you, because I don't know how I got you. I don't know how
the great mysteries.
Yeah, how I got people that I would have never. It's like, it's like, you see, because here's the ironic thing. It's like I'm saying that my ideal reader is female, but I know for a fact
your audience is male.
I have a predominantly male audience.
That goes for the YouTube channels too.
So it's like, so am I creating for the wrong people? I don't know. But the thing is, though,
it's complicated.
Yeah, it is. It is. But the thing is, though, now mind you, I'm not talking about, men make up 99% of my Kickstarter. It's kind of a lot. Maybe it's like oh no, I'm not going to do math.
I know 98% of our viewership is male.
Right. But my Kickstarter, I'll have to look at, it's like maybe it's 40% female. I mean, so it's like I see female names, it's like that's the thing, because Kickstarter doesn't allow you to do that type of demographic survey.
Right.
So I can only go by names that I see. So yeah, maybe 30 to 40% of the people who support an Eagle Raven campaign are female.
But basically, her first 2 chapters to me sound like it sounds like the same thing we've been preaching. She just worded it differently, because honestly, your target audience, no matter who you are, is going to be yourself, because that's what you're trying to put out, and that's what you're trying to portray and convey.
Right. Yeah.
Despite whether it's your book, your platform, or whatever.
And what's funny is that in the end, that was the only way I could make this work. This is the only way that I could kind of did I have a breakthrough? I don't know, because technically everything that I'm writing here, I'm essentially describing myself. And like I said, I can't possibly be the only one.
Yeah. Cause I'm sitting here doing it in my head, and it's like, oh, well, wait, that's me.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, though, it's like, it's like, but here's the thing, though. It's like, okay, so how do I take this information. You see, and that's the thing. How do I take this
That's the
information?
thing. These motherfucking books won't tell you, Daphne,
No,
and that's why I'm
you know what's
bitching.
funny?
'cause I
You
got
know
all
what's
these
funny?
books
If
and
you read
they're
the
missing
first
key.
chapter, the very first her intro, she tells you she's not telling you that. She outright says, "I am not telling you what to do. You have to figure it out yourself." Because
Well,
she
fuck
says,
you,
she
then I don't
says,
need your book.
you filled out all the forms already. You've answered all the questionnaires, and you still haven't gotten anywhere. Now it's time for you to try
I'm
to
just
figure
gonna
it out
hang myself
yourself,
when this is
and
over.
maybe you can move on. So yeah, so what I'm trying to do is take all this information that I've gotten so far from the book, take it with the information that I'm getting from these 5 YouTube channels that I watch. And mind you, like I said, these YouTube channels, they have subscriber counts that are not to sneeze. It's like, this is not somebody with 2,000 subscribers
Right.
to tell you what to do. I mean, 1.1 million subscribers. I kind of think, so 173,000 subscribers, 500,000 subscribers. I mean, I kind of think these people know what they're talking about. So it's to take what information I can get from these channels.
Take it easy.
Take care. And take it with the other information that I kind of figured out, and see how I can kind of like, is this the direction do I have to go in? And here's the thing: the direction that I'm seeing myself going in is not that different than the direction that I was already on.
Headed in. That's it. I think that's what's frustrated me the most about trying to learn from any of this.
Right. It's just that I have to, I guess, kind of like refocus how I'm on this path. It's like, it's kind of like, you realize that you're wearing the wrong shoes for the hike, but if you change your shoes, you'll have a better time. You'll have an easier time on the trail, wearing actual hiking boots instead of Crocs or something, instead of Papianas.
Nobody wears Crocs that watches us.
I know. So, so that's what I'm trying to figure out. It's like, okay, I know I'm on the right path, but there's something not quite right here that I need to change. So yeah, so that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like I said, this is just
and no book is going to tell us how to do that. That is my conclusion.
Well, but the thing is, that's true. That's true, because you know what? If a book outright told you what to do, everybody would be doing it.
Damn straight.
But that's not what's happening. So
God damn, all this self-reflection.
Yeah, I know. Nonsense. I know. That's kind of, like I said, it's like it put me into a tizzy yesterday, or it could have just been snorting up.
I'm glad I wasn't in a room with you yesterday. I'd had a stroke.
Like, all that joke for the past 2 days. Maybe it was that. It's like you got me on board to Eager Raven because you were able to reach me by relating Eager Raven to those things I do pay attention and like that is outside of your desired audience. Yeah, you see, that's kind of, and that was like, that's kind of like, now for me to try to repeat that. It's like I did that unintentionally. How do I do this on purpose? By
continually trying to sell to yourself. Right for that one person audience, the person who has the truest love and truest desire for what you are producing. It's going to be yourself. And as long as you're doing that and being genuine, the audience is going to follow. It's going to grow. It's getting to those motherfuckers. That's the problem.
Right. Well, yeah, but that's kind of, but that's kind of the point of reevaluating all this.
Right. That's the whole point in reevaluating.
That's the whole point.
Because the mastery is there. It's the audience. It's like, where are you?
Right. Yeah, that's that. And that's exactly, it's like, where are you? It's
Which is why I'm jumping around every social media platform
do I have
right
to
now.
put out? Do I have to read Berserk or something and then do a video on Berserk and tie it into Eager Raven somehow? Do I have to kind of do I have watch House of Dragons and make that connection? What's the connection? It's like White Manga does when he reads a manga. He did a beach episode thing and where he was talking about beach episodes in anime, and then he literally makes a direct transition from talking about all this anime with beach episodes into a speed paint of him doing a beach episode chapter in his book Apple Black. Like, he's literally making those direct connections. I mean, is that what I have to do? Or it's like, do I do, it's like, but like I said, it's like different audience mindsets need different videos. So I can't just make the one same video. Like, I can make the video for my one avatar, right? But there are days that maybe this avatar wants to see more, how-to videos. It's like, you know what? It's like, how do you learn how to use Clip Studio Paint? What happens, it's like, how do you do that? How are you doing that? Right. But maybe also another day, this avatar, it's like, what did you read lately? What are you reading lately that, that's, because you have to continue consuming certain types of media to fill the well in order to continue creating your book. Nothing's created in a vacuum. So maybe the avatar wants to see something about that. Maybe there's a day where it's like, you know what, you kind of, it's like, how do you get a comic book done, as in a certain amount of time, when you have this deadline, when you're trying to meet the end of the month crush? How do you do that? What's a day in your office look like? It's like, I'm curious. It's like, what does your workspace look like? What kind of supplies do you have? What do you use? It's like, do you really spend all day at your table, or is, your day a little bit more eclectic, So these are all different types of videos that puts out different types of bait depending on like who I'm trying to attract. But you see, but that's the thing though. It's like, it's just kind of hard for me to think of this thing as that conscious. But what's funny is that Kelsey Rodriguez talks about that. She classifies all the videos that she makes according to what she's trying to accomplish with that video. So she has all of these categories. So here's a how-to, here's a self-help, here's a rant video, here's inspirational, here's me talking about the business side, here's more lifestyle. So it's not like knowing this avatar means that I'm only going to do one type of video or one type of content. It's just that, like I said, the avatar just makes it easier for me to focus. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of the thing, because when your audience cares about you, no matter what happens, no matter what trends come and go, what comes into fashion,
they'll remain.
They'll remain, because it's you and your work that they want to continue reading, not whether you have a certain artist on a certain variant cover or this, that, and the other thing, or it's like, you're doing this, it's like these, well, like I said, trends come and go, but people who are actual fans of your work, that's the true success on Kickstarter. If you look at the top 200 most funded comics on Kickstarter, that's the common denominator. Readers that follow you regardless of what's going on. So that's 2 chapters. I'm only 2 chapters in, Nita. And I'm a mess.
You're the hottest mess, and I love you for it.
Thank you, Nita. Thank you. That's why I like having you around. Well, we're already like, look at that. It's like this book had me in a state. We're already almost 15 minutes in at the top of the hour. We're obviously going. People got shit to do,
Right.
A clear day out that I can actually go outside, So
you can
take advantage of that today. So hopefully the winds, keep the fires in Canada. Where look at these are your fires, you deal with them. So, oh my goodness. So do you have any final thoughts on this, Nita?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, it's just like, this is just what we're learning, and like I said, it's like we're
madness.
It really is. I mean, it's like we're learning this as we go along, and I'm hoping that sharing this nonsense with you actually makes more sense than it being, because it's not nonsense in the end. I mean, it's like, we're all trying to grow our presence and sell our books and whatnot. And this is kind of the things that we have to think about. There is no just sitting back and showing up and it's like, oh, my book is so brilliant, people will just show up. No, they won't. No, they won't. You have to make the effort, and it's like, look, if you're doing this as a hobby, good for you. Continue doing you. But I mean, if you really want to take your stuff to the next level, this is the type of research you have to do. This is the type of work you have to do. This is the type of contemplation you have to do. It's like, we're not creating in a vacuum. In the end, I create for myself, but I want other people to see it. I want people to support me on Kickstarter. I want people to go to my website and buy it off the store. I want, it's like, I want people, it's like, that's the thing. I mean, that's kind of the next, these are the steps we have to take. No, and in the end, it's like, look, nobody can be as excited for your book as you. So you have to take that excitement and try to, and really try to transfer it into everything that you do so that people do feel this excitement and want to be part of your, want to be a part of whatever it is that you're doing. Because it's like, look, I know that the internet can be a very negative space, but the thing is, though, that's the negative space is manufactured. What people really want is they want to be excited. They want to love things. They want to be with people who are having fun,
and enjoy what they're doing. So be a light in the darkness.
Right. Exactly. So it's like, be the change, it's like, we, I was watching an interview with David Cho, and who's this artist who got paid, who did a mural, who became a millionaire by getting paid in Facebook stock. He was charging $60,000 to do a mural for one of the founders of Facebook when they were nobody, and they said, look, I can give you the 60,000, no problem, but really take the stock instead in Facebook. And he took the stock, and when Facebook went public, that $200 million. He became a millionaire overnight. The artist. So, and he was, and he was talking about how. Oh fuck! You see, that's why I write down notes, because I forgot what my point was. Oh, fuck it. That his friends were telling him, it's like, you know what? You have all these examples of people being, shitty and starving artists and this, that, and the other thing. Who said you had to be part of those examples? Why can't you be the one person who's succeeding and being happy in what you're doing? And that was kind of like a catalyst moment for him, where it's like that he had like bought into this whole suffering artist and drug addiction and everything. Well, he had other addictions, not drug. He had other addictions. And then it just came to a point where it's like his friends go, it's like, you know what? It's like you keep talking about wanting to be positive, but you keep harping on all these negative examples. Who said you're not the one? Who said that you can't be the one to be the one example everybody refers to? So, yeah, okay. So I ended up muddling that story. So, but you guys, I'm sure you guys understand what I was trying to say here.
They get the gist of it, and we don't apologize. My graph was wrong about one thing.
Right, so there you go. Yeah. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Thank you so much for the 8 people who still stuck around, even though I was supposed to have been wrapping this up 20 minutes ago. But thank you so much. I hope you got something out of this. And like I said, the book is called, what is the book called? The 1 Hour Content Plan by Mira Kaufhand. So it's Tyler Carpenter recommended it. He says, it's like, look, it won't tell you what to do, but it will put you on the right track. And honestly, after these first chapters, I have to agree. So So there you go. So thank you so much, everybody. Have a great rest of your weekend. Hopefully you're not in any of the areas affected by any more of this smoke, because that sucked. And I hope your air quality is good enough for the rest of the weekend. And in the words of the ancients, eat your food, moisturize, mind your business, both literally and figuratively, and do the work, because when you actually do the work, you never have to fake any of your accomplishments. Thank you so much again for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.